and welcome back to The Stage Door, presented by Canberra Arts on Rogers TV. This week, we're not in the Rogers studio. We're actually in Santa's workshop, or we're about to be. There's a whole brand new experience right here in Corner Brook on Broadway, and it's such a joy to be able to be here with the creators behind that experience and talk about it. So I'm here with Mike, KJ, and Kristi-lee, all of whom are behind this brand new experience. So before we talk specifically about what it was like to create this and build this incredible experience, we'll talk about each of your background. So Kristi-lee, you're kind of the decorator of the physical things in this space. What inspired you to step into that world of decorating?
Actually, my nephew and them got married a couple years ago, and there was nowhere for them to get any gear here in Corner Brook. My family actually had to travel to St. John's and picked up stuff there and brought it back. So I thought, why not bring something here that is in the area that everybody can get it here locally, right? So
Absolutely. And what, wedding decorating is really something that is artistic and theatrical. It's something that you're building a space for people on one of the most important days of their lives. So obviously it takes a lot of communication and a lot of connection. So what was your favorite part about kind of getting to meet the people and building those type of experiences?
just seeing the visions of everybody. Like, everybody got a different vision, and they all want something different. So just seeing all that come together makes it all worth doing what you're doing, right? So
Excellent. And what led to having this idea to decorate for Christmas?
Christmas is a magical time of year, so like decorating for Christmas is a big part of my life, and I always wanted that, and I always did love decorating, so I think Christmas is one of the best times of the year, and it brings families together.
Excellent. Well, we'll get to see a lot more of Kristi-lee's decorating throughout the episode. So thanks so much for sharing that. We'll move on down the line to KJ. So KJ, your background is primarily in audio.
It is.
What kind of started that journey for you in terms of becoming an audio tech?
I've been a local musician in town for the last few decades, and being a musician, being on the road, working with audio equipment, it just felt natural that when the opportunity came around to get into the audio business here locally in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yeah, so up till now, what have been some of your favorite experiences working as audio here in Corner Brook?
People you get to meet, there's lots of interesting characters in the music scene
Yeah.
around Newfoundland and Labrador, making new friends, and seeing the inner works of festivals and getting to meet the committees and the people who put all the work into bringing all that together. It's quite a task, and it's fun to be part of that, and it's fun to see communities come together, especially with the stuff, the come home years
Yeah.
and local festivals. It's good to see.
Absolutely. So what would you say were some of the kind of highlight events that you've been able to kind of be a part of? Because really, like you said, a lot of these events are by committees, primarily volunteers, and of course you're hired through your company, but then you give a lot more in a way with those big events because it's a passion as well. So what have been some of the highlight events that have happened in Corner Brook and beyond?
One of the bigger ones we've been part of was Kane's Quest, skidoo race in Labrador City.
Amazing.
That was great, and the weather driving over, we did the audio for Kane's Quest the year that they had all the rain.
Oh,
So it turned out to be a pretty interesting drive for 2 days. Ended up getting stuck in Blanc Sablon on the boat for 6 days. So it's been some interesting times, and the hotel rooms there and trying to get across, and taking part in other events such as the Indigenous Tourism Summit that came here to Corner Brook a few years back. It was nice to be part of that and witness what goes into some of those conferences. And the amount of people that came from right across the country and even beyond Canada, it was good to see. And even the local festivals, taking part in events that happen here around the city and around Corner Brook, and that was probably my favorite part of this whole audio journey so far.
yeah. No, it seems like it's an incredible opportunity not only to, showcase the skills that you have, but also to learn a lot. That Indigenous tourism must have offered so much perspective. While you're running the sound for it, you get to hear so much information, and so it seems like a great space to share things as well and get those extra insights. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's neat. And we'll move on down the line now to Mike. So Mike, you have a lot of experience again in the technical side between video, a lot of production elements. So what started that journey for you?
Basically, I've always been fascinated by computers and technology, so way back when I was 15, 16, I guess, I got my first computer, and I've been fascinated by that ever since, what I could build with it, how I could hook it up, what I could make it do, what you could create with it. So that pretty much started my journey back as an early teen, I guess.
Excellent. So what would you say in, since those times, what were some of the highlights where you got to kind of explore a little further up to now where you created this whole sizable experience?
God, there's been so many, it's hard to name one. From working in TV alongside with Gian to some of the big productions with KJ and Kristi-lee, to building the elevator and coming up with that design. They all rank up there. I pretty much enjoy each experience equally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll now start talking about this experience. This is pretty unique for our region. I think it's pretty unique for the province, actually, which has been really exciting. So what kind of sparked the idea and inspiration to be able to help create an experience to get kids and families up to Santa's workshop in that elevator?
Well, I guess it started last year. I had seen a YouTube video online of an elevator similar to this in the States. I believe it was New Jersey. And just seeing the kids' reaction and the challenge itself of trying to build something like that intrigued me from the start. So I brought the idea to KJ and Kristi, and they're like, let's make it happen. So we basically huddled together and started coming up with the ideas and making it happen.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And we'll pass it down to KJ. Same question to you. What really kind of brought this journey to not only possibility, but to really commit to it? And like Mike said, it's not something that you can think of in October and make happen by November, December. It takes a lot of planning.
It took about a full year to put together. Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of purchases,
Absolutely.
to put it on that side too. I think those are the other layers that go into this project. Is you have to really build something to make sure that magic is attainable for the kids, and that it's something that full families can enjoy. So what went into it from kind of coming into this space and starting to work as a team to build this experience?
Well, like you said, first off, bringing the families together at Christmas. It's not an easy time of year for everybody. And bringing something to the region that could brighten up the kids' faces, the families' faces, seeing the reactions when they walk in and they go through the elevator, and there's Santa Claus himself working with the big guy sitting there in the chair, and just really the community coming together. Mm-hmm. And we're getting support from not just Corner Brook. We've had people from Grand Falls, we've had people from Gander, we've had people from as far as Bonavista, St. John's. Come over and take advantage of the elevator and get the chance to come see what it is we have put together.
Yeah, so I guess it's really another opportunity. Like you mentioned, you get to meet so many people doing sound. This has been another opportunity like that. You get to meet so many people from across the province coming here to experience this, and I'm sure asking a lot of questions about how that magic happens for the parents who are able to see it.
Absolutely, one of my favorite stories. I mean, coming back through the elevator, we had two sisters who were twin sisters. They were 6 years old. Coming back out through the elevator, and before they took their journey, they were arguing on the way here about Santa Claus, and if Santa Claus was real. And the smile it brought to my face to see them look at each other and go, "See, I told you he was real." Yeah. The Santa Claus, and actually get to see him in the workshop and the work that does go in at the North Pole and Santa's workshop to get prepared for Christmas. It's a great show.
Absolutely. No, I think it really is something that's, so important for families to get to have that little bit of magic. I think it's a pretty amazing thing. And I'll say too, I think tickets are a great value for this because it allows up to 5 people to get to go on this journey. I think that's an amazing thing that you're offering and putting out there.
That was very important to us too, to make sure it was affordable for families to come here and take in this experience. Well, like again, being Christmas, not everybody's got that extra funds to go do things like this. So we wanted to make sure that we kept the price very family friendly.
Yeah, no, I think that's excellent. And we'll move on down to Kristi-lee. Talking about, again, building this, you said Christmas is definitely a holiday that you appreciate and enjoy. And before we started, you talked about already having plans for next year to make it bigger and more decorations. You're already sourcing those, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
So what has it been like to kind of create the physical elements? You know, a lot of this is through digital work to get us to the North Pole, but there's also a lot of physical things around this space. So what kind of thoughts went into that, and how was it similar to your wedding design work, but what were the kind of key differences as well?
I wanted to bring it back, like, so that the families, grandparents, everybody gets a feeling of coming back, because I got a lot of the old vintage stuff through Santa's workshop, and the same way when I do my weddings and that, I want to bring in a lot of the old stuff so that I'm different and unique than everybody else.
Yeah.
So, like, just bringing that back, like, say, there have been numerous families coming through, and even the grandparents, and just the feedback from everybody on the decor has been amazing.
Excellent. Yeah,
Yep.
and you look around the room, you know, there's 2 vintage school desks, which are always so great to see, typewriter, luggage, and there's even a little bit of snacks available. Tunnocks, Carmelogs, you know, very classic Newfoundland treats.
Yep.
Imported Newfoundland treats, but I think they're well known in Newfoundland as far as usability goes. They've really become part of Newfoundland culture. So I really do admire looking around at this space and seeing so much of here, because that's what helps make it unique. Like you said, you know, it is something that you've seen done similarly, but I think you've done a beautiful job of bringing it here.
Right, yep.
And, you know, with the magic element, there's a lovely Christmas village that I hear you folks all head into at the end of the day once you close shop.
Absolutely. That's where we all go back to rest up after we work with Santa all day
There we
and
go.
build all the gifts and get them ready for Christmas. So.
Yeah. So, KJ, I'll send it back to you now. It must be pretty intimidating working with Santa, especially in a busy time of year. So you said, you know, getting to
Santa's
work
a
with
very
the big
busy
man.
guy.
Yeah, so what has that been like to collaborate and to go into that workshop and bring so many kids in there?
Oh, it's great. It's great. We're honored that Santa decided to let us bring his portal to the North Pole, to Corner Brook. It was very exciting. So once we knew that we did have the opportunity to work directly with Santa Claus, there was no going back. We knew that this had to happen, and it had to come to our community.
Excellent. Well, I think it's a great gift, you know, to have this in Corner Brook. You know, there's so much to do around this time of year, but it's so exciting to see an experience, you know. It's great to see a show. It's great to see so many wonderful musicians that are sharing so many great causes to support. But it is pretty special, too, to get to do something with the family that is like this experience. So I think it's great to be able to get up to the North Pole, head into that workshop, and I commend you folks for getting to do that and collaborating with Santa. I guess that also kind of guarantees you 3 a spot on the nice list.
We are
right?
on the nice list. We've made sure.
There we go. So we'll pass it over to Mike and kind of conclude with this question that each of you will answer. You've alluded to it so far, but the question is, and it'll be for all 3 of you, what do you hope the families take away who get to experience this?
Just a little bit of the sense of the Christmas magic again. The past few years, with everything going on in the world, people seem to separate it and kind of lose track of things. So like Kristi had mentioned, she brought in all the vintage stuff. So not only when the kids come in, they lose their mind over Santa, but the parents immediately fan out and start looking at the old toys, and they're like, oh, I have one of those, and they're showing their kids. And you can kind of see them connecting for those few minutes that we're in there, and just the happiness that it brings to them.
Excellent.
So,
KJ, we'll pass that same question.
For me, it's the memories for the families, not just today, but this is something that they can take home with them, and it's a conversation piece for years to come. We actually have grandparents, parents coming in here in tears when they see their kids' reactions to actually getting to go to the North Pole, to meet Santa Claus, and to see what he does on a day-to-day. It's pretty special, and knowing that the families are going home with a memory that they'll cherish for the rest of their life is really what makes it for me.
Yeah, Absolutely.
Yeah, same as I said, like the memories and stuff. Like I've had parents message us after, and just the stories they're telling us of going home and their children, and they've never seen their children so excited for Christmas as they have since they went through the elevator. Like I've had parents come out through the elevator out here and looked up to me, tears in their eyes, and they said, "You gave us a Christmas miracle."
Yeah.
So that hits the heart.
No, absolutely. I can only imagine how fulfilling this experience must have been, especially, you know, knowing that when you take on a project of this scale, and I think that's an important thing for viewers of the Stage Door to recognize, is there's a lot that goes into this. You see, it's like an iceberg. You see the tip of the iceberg, and the tip of the iceberg is a beautiful thing, but the work underneath that is so significant, not only in time, but in making sure you have the equipment and making sure that you have the time to test it, to make sure that that magic works every time that a family goes in that elevator. And then, you know, having a space to do it, sharing that. So I think it's so wonderful to hear that it's been a success, not only for the people of Corner Brook, but for people well beyond that area, you know, people driving in from
All
Central
over.
to come in and experience this because it's caught the waves. So how can people book in? I know you're filling up pretty fast, but before we get a sneak peek of the elevator itself, how can people book their experience and the costs and all the details behind that?
All of that, their bookings are coming through me, which they can either reach out to makeitYoursNL@gmail.com or NLAV709@gmail.com, as well as people have been calling me and my cell, which is 709-660-0981. And I'll just book them all through there. The price now is for family up to 5, which is $59.99 plus tax. You get 2 digital prints, digital prints sent to you, 2 photos printed, and a Santa response as well. Santa will write the kids back before Christmas.
Wow. I mean, really, that's an extraordinary deal, you know, for a whole family, you know, up to 5 people to get that photo, to get that letter, to get the whole experience of this.
The experience alone is...
You know, no wonder it's filling up so quickly. So, you know, Corner Brook, book in soon is what I will tell you.
Absolutely.
You're going right up to the 22nd is the plan.
That is
That's
the
the
plan.
plan.
And you're expanding as needed, so that's the good thing. Is there's some days in the week. It started with just weekends, but you're looking at the need to expand based on the volume. So the sooner you book, the sooner that those decisions can be made by these lovely folks. And remember, they have to communicate all that to the big man in the North Pole, so you definitely want to book in advance. We're going to take a sneak peek of the elevator now, and then I'll be right back to tell you some of the goings-on in Corner Brook.
My biggest therapy is Mother Nature. When I walk through the woods, I'm seeing a little bit more than just a tree and just a plant. I see what I can do with it. I make medicines and salves from plants and trees. In 2014, I suffered with a heart attack. Since I had my heart attack, obviously there were some Western medications involved. And on top of the Western medication, I have found myself nature-wise, and medicines provided by Mother Nature has helped me a lot. With nature, I have burned sage and sweetgrass. I find that that cleanses the air and, you know, helps you cleanse your body. It also helps me talk to my ancestors. That has helped me through this whole process. I feel responsible as a Mi'kmaq person to help Mother Nature. We look at everything, whether it is a rock or a tree, as life. When I collect my medicines, I'm offering tobacco to thank the plant for the medicine. So the plant will, you know, give me medicine again the following year. It's a part of the big whole. Right now we're standing in the middle of a boreal forest I can look around, I can see birch trees. You know, birch tree, for example, there's so many things you can do with that. That is the tree of life. Aboriginal people have used the bark for making canoes, for making shelter, for fire starting. There's a fungus that grows on birch, it's called chaga. I use that for my tea. It's a very, very good all-around tonic. Balsam fir trees, the blisters on those trees actually were used to heal cuts and scrapes. You cut yourself in the woods, the first thing we'll do is put some balsam fir sap on it. Society now is so fast. I think the world really needs to slow down and you know, just enjoy nature and the smells and the sights and sounds. Well, this is where it all started in the beginning. It was from our plants, you know, and our animals and that kind of thing. Why not go back to the beginning and you know, get back to our roots again? It's very important for the Mi'kmaq people to embrace native tradition. You know, for many, many years, you know, we were told not to be Aboriginal, and I think now society has embraced, you know, Aboriginal peoples, and you know, we should embrace our history in the sense of, you know, traditional medicines and traditional foods. You know, I think it's all a part of the culture that we've lost. So now we have an opportunity to reach out and find ourselves again.
All right, so here's a little sneak peek of what you can hope to expect, but remember, you're only going to get the real experience if you drop down in person. Here we go. Let's see. And there we have it, Santa's workshop. Now, like I said, the big man's a little busy, but we are fortunate to get a little sneak peek at what you might see here in the beautiful North Pole. Well, that certainly got me into the Christmas spirit, and I think it will get you into the Christmas spirit if you get that ticket and get to go. And remember, at the end of your experience, you get to meet the big man himself in the North Pole, so you get that added bonus of him being on schedule, ready to meet your whole family, up to 5 people. I think it's really going to be a wonderful experience if you can book your ticket, so make sure to do that in advance. And as I said, there is so much going on in Corner Brook in December. Check out the Arts and Culture Centre and the Rotary Arts Centre. There's so many great events, including some of our friends, the Ennis sisters, Nick Hamlin, Alison Crow, and many, many more artists are coming through. Don't forget, Canberra Arts also has its choral show happening at All Saints Church on December 15th. And in addition to that, we have our annual Christmas Gala, the big event every holiday season where everyone comes home that's worked with the organization and gets to share with you. That's happening, as always, on December 22nd. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week back at the stage door.